Are we all going to keep in mind here that this is the coaching staff's first year? They're into the playoffs. They have a chance for a home playoff date to be determined. And it's their first year. We're going to talk Riders, of course. We got audio from Saturday, the big win. Nathan Rourke, who the Riders will be facing this weekend, had some interesting comments about the green and white. We're going to hear from those. Regina Pats, WHL, SJHL. We got hockey covered. Hour 2, Dave Thomas is going to join us. We're going to break down the game in Edmonton. What did Dave see? Behind the curtains look, as the Babas and Guidos say. What do we miss? What does Dave know that we don't know about this team and that win? Also, Regina Thunder, Saskatoon Hilltops, they're on a collision course to meet again in the PFC final. We're going to run down their weekend, the Regina Rams weekend. Hour 3, Darian Durant, doubles. You got any questions for doubles? Do you have questions for doubles? You can let us know. And also 5:30. How about this for a beauty? Colby Armstrong, talking hockey, NHL. He's actually, he was somewhat pumped, Bidsy, that you were going to be on the program. He's like, Biddy. That's what the text said. Biddy is going to be on with you. I'm like, I think you missed an S, Colbs, but we'll let you go, buddy. Oh, and then this came down late. Speaking of getting in your questions, sorry, Bids, I'll let you jump in here. Marc Mueller, offensive coordinator, Saskatchewan Roughriders. I'm sure people out there have questions for him. He's going to come on in hour 2, back half of hour 2. Capital Ford Lincoln text line that I've been talking about is 936-6262, 306-936-6262. Get your questions in for doubles, for Marc Mueller, maybe for Colby Armstrong, heck, even for Dave Thomas. If you want to ask David a question about his 1991 provincial high school football championship that he talked about last week, where that kid burnt his face on the heater on the sideline. Lots of fun, Bids. How's it going up there in Stoon?
It's going good, my friend. Good to hear from Colby Armstrong. Biddy is just fine, and this is going to be a name drop. I don't mean it as such, but I just remember this little debate one time. Jerome McGinley in Calgary, I got to know fairly well, obviously covering the Flames for about 10 years. But a good buddy of mine in Calgary is Jerome's best pal. So when he got married, Jerome was the best man, and I was the MC, and we went to Montreal, and we had a great time down there. This stag was there. It was good times.
Why wouldn't a guy?
Yeah, why wouldn't a guy, right? Just do it in Montreal and have Jerome lead the way. Anyway, the whole thing is, the long part to the story is that he kept calling me Biddy, and Mike kept saying it's Bidsy, and he goes, no, he doesn't mind looking at Bids. Do you mind? No, Biddy, he's fine with Biddy. So Colby Armstrong wants to call me Biddy, Bidsy, whatever, any of that stuff works, and it's just great to be on the show with you again, buddy, after having last week off.
Yeah. What did you do? You probably hit the gym, eh? Got your swole on. Looks like you got a little tanning bed action. You look nice. I saw you getting ready for the sideline gig here Saturday, the Thanksgiving sideline gig.
Yeah, I went tanning, got my teeth whitened, I got a new haircut, got in myself a new shirt and a pair of slacks. I'm gonna be looking good on the sidelines. Yeah.
One of those,
looking forward to it.
One of those loud shirts where you roll up the collar and it's even louder underneath.
Oh,
the guys,
underneath.
And they used to put out their True Religion jeans, those guys. Yeah, and they were all tanned up. Speaking of tarps here, can we see it? If you're watching the stream, sportscage.com, you see, look at this nice tarp, Bidsy. Moose Jaw Warriors dropped off for me. Isn't that a nice Under Armour? No free plugs, but Under Armour's, they're okay. Moose Jaw Warriors, yeah, they dropped it off. Nice. And this is
you know what's great about that is that it's not red, it's not black, red, and white. It's just kind of understated. It's sharp. It's a sharp tarp.
It is a sharp blouse. I like it. Okay, so Saturday, Curtis placed his first ever wager, sports gambling wager. This
I wonder
weekend,
how that influence happened.
I have no idea. It is power of the herd.
No.
And it was on our Saskatchewan Roughriders, which I absolutely drilled And it came out all right, Curtis, didn't it? It didn't. Happy?
Oh, no.
I'm a happy
Curtis
guy,
is hooked.
you know? It's always nice to win.
You got excited, though, didn't you? Like, it was that feeling that... But everybody, it's always responsible. If you're out there, if you're going to be a D-gen, that's okay. Just responsibly sprinkle. What can you lose? Yeah. You know, okay, maybe...
Just money.
Well, well, you can lose all the money you bet, but if you sprinkle and it's responsible, I agree.
But like, it's too bad because our governments, doesn't matter where you are with a government now, they're just printing money. So it doesn't, like, going into debt is the thing. Like, if you seriously can look yourself in the mirror and go, we are going to get out of debt someday, it's not going to happen. It just cannot happen. I'm not an economics major by any means, but let's say I got another maybe 20. I got another good 20 years in me. Maybe. My kids have another 60. Like, there is no possible way we are ever getting to zero. Anywhere. I don't care where you are. That's just that's the economics portion of the program, brought to you by Deloitte and Touche.
For all you kids, for all you kids, just listen to Shink. This is what you want to do with your allowance.
You're absolutely screwed. Kids, you're screwed. FYI.
Just a way to look into the future.
You treat your mom and dad really good. There's a good chance you're living with them for a long time. Or your friends.
Maybe you can get their inheritance.
There's not going to be much, though. Anyway, we can. Hey, it's like election time, Bidsy, and I haven't even really gotten into like the whole election, whether it's south of the border, north of the border, in our province. Civic, you guys are doing the civic thing up in Saskatoon as well. I talked about this last week. I see the signs on lawns. Actually, after this windstorm, I see them all over now. Fields. It was crazy, like the wind. But I know some of the names. I have no idea what these people stand for, what they're running on. And that goes civic, provincial. I am probably, and I guess it's like, hey, this is my view. This isn't where I work. So email in and go cuckoo bananas. I don't care. I've never been less engaged when it comes to elections than I am this year. Part of me is like, I don't care, because it's just, is anything really going to change? To be honest.
Well, that's one way to look at it. Another thing about this, though, Shink, is that I think a lot of people actually are not really engaged with elections when they do come around. And that's, you can talk about whether that's who cares, or you can talk about that's a really bad thing. But that's why people that are of notoriety or their names are well known, a.k.a. Donald Trump, Trudeau, that's how they get elected. And this is something that a lot of people in the media do, too. So, I mean, right now, Shink, hey, you're a popular guy. SportsCage is really popular. You could probably run and you could win.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my. Oh, my. Would that be something else?
A lot of things would change.
Yeah. The cancel culture would be all over me. Did you hear what he said? There's no way. But you're right. The brand, if you have that brand recognition, you are, I think you're in a good spot, because no one knows what the hell anyone's running on. Everyone's just sending pamphlets in the mail. Can we stop sending crap in the mail? How is this allowed in 2024? We can't have a plastic straw, but I can have a stack of papers every week in my mailbox like that. Mm-hmm. If you're watching the stream, I'm giving that about, what is that, 6 inches? It's, but you know what I mean? Oh, no plastic bags.
Old school.
Hey, plastic bags bad. Hey, plastic straws bad. Oh, just send a bunch of crap in the mail, by the way. Yeah. Mailers. Yeah, I'm going to vote for you because you sent me a mailer. That is just the brand recognition you're talking about, but give your head a shake. Just a quick shake. Just give it a quick shake. Okay, so where I was going to go on all this Election.
I think you could run for office. You're fired up right now.
No, I'm an absolute idiot. With everything going on, and I think I've talked to a couple, people are so disengaged with elections and whatever's going on. They're into sports. People are into sports. If you are in this province, there's a pretty good chance now, even if you're that kind of slight bandwagon guy, you're jumping on now, the Riders.
Oh, for
you're
sure.
You're jumping on. And you got a game this week.
All in.
BC Lions. You win, home playoff game.
Yep.
Like, who does not want to be a part of that?
I can tell you here in Saskatoon, and I've heard a lot of this from people around the office and with some of my pals, and people that, and this goes from a lot of people that weren't, jumping on the Riders bandwagon or weren't already on it earlier in the year. They're thinking this game has all the implications you need on Saturday.
Yes.
And the Riders are already in the playoffs, so now the people that I'm talking about, they're planning parties and all this. So many people I know are already setting up barbecues, and you're coming over to my house, and we're bringing in potluck. We're bringing in the big TV into the garage. Here's another one too. Got to bring the big TV in the house into the garage because we can make more mess in the garage, and we can spill more beer. And for those that weren't already on it, I think they're all jumping on it now. And why not? Hey, you know what? We're getting a little cooler in the year. You're not spending that much time at the lake. It's probably already bundled up. The kids are back in school. Get on the Riders bandwagon. Perfect timing.
It's a great time to know garage guy that's got his garage all decked out.
Yeah.
TV, got a bar set up in the corner. What else does garage guy have?
He always has Rider flags on the wall.
Yeah. Pilsner. Yeah. Probably at some point a Pilsner flag.
Or some type of Pilsner bannering that he got from a bar, and maybe a Heather Thomas or Heather Locklear poster, and a poster of a white Lamborghini Countach.
I haven't heard Lamborghini Countach in so long, because there was a Countach, and then what was the Diablo? What were the other Lamborghini makes? Man,
there's a lot of them now.
I always wanted to go and rent one in Las Vegas and just drive it around, and then I found out how much the insurance was, and I was like... And then everyone always, my buddies always go, like, garage guy. That would be, he's car guy. He's like, those have governors on them. It's not as fast. They're not going to, I'm like, you honestly think I'm going to take this Lamborghini out in Vegas and pin it? I just want to drive it, dude. I don't want to go
down the strip.
I don't want to rip on the freeway at 260 an hour. Like, that's not was the game plan was never to test it. It was just to drive it, have the door go up and down, the fancy door like that.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a Lamborghini guy listening. There's a Lamborghini club in Regina, which if they drive anywhere in
that one,
if they live in South Regina, they are absolutely hooped. I drove on one of those roads the other day near the Belfer Arena. Bidsy, next time you're in Regina, I'll take you. You see, Saskatoon, we're a little bit spoiled up north. Everything's a little more stable when it comes to ground. When I moved to Regina, I found out it's like, ooh, be careful if you're buying a house in this area. Ooh, be careful about this. And I'm like, why? It's like the gumbo, right? Colson, you're shaking your head. Is it gumbo? You gumbo guy?
Well, when most of the city is built on a marshland, what do you get?
Yeah. And then I remember when they built Harbor Landing.
Louisiana gumbo.
No, different. And then when they built Harbor Landing, I remember it was like, oh, they built it on a snow dump. It's not going to be great. And I'm like, what? And I think I was like tinfoil head guy, conspiracy theorist guy. But it is very, the roads, you don't need speed bumps. Your kids would never be in jeopardy of getting hit on these streets in South, because you can't go fast.
You can't go fast, otherwise you bottom out.
Which is actually one really positive as a parent of young kids. I'd be like, perfect. We're moving to the South until they're 9. And then we're moving. Because you can't just go
out of there.
I was driving, I seriously should drive you on a couple of these roads. There's a detour by the Belfer Arena. Anyone listening that knows what I'm talking about, you're like, oh, yeah, totally know. And these poor people now have all these hobos driving through their neighborhood because there's the massive detour, and it is just like Excite Bike on Nintendo. It's like, and I'm just like, how would you ever drive anything low profile? Like not a Lamborghini, but if you were loud muffler kid with the kit in your Civic And it was like, where they spend way too much money on the loud muffler, and it was really low.
Louder. Yeah.
Can't have it in that area.
Nope. No. You see, you're talking about taking me for a tour, though. I think what you do is you know what? We'll just, without me knowing, I'll be kind of in the, I'll be off in space, not really thinking about it. Take me to Tim Hortons, get me a large coffee, and then right when I'm about to pop that top there and take a sip, then head down one of those roads and pin it and just laugh when it all ends up all over me.
It's, no, I'm not pinning anything. I like my shocks and struts. But you're coming in for the game on Saturday, circling back.
Yes, sir.
To Rider football. I'm very curious on what kind of crowd we get Saturday. Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
What's the forecast, Colson?
What's the weather? Yeah, what's the weather supposed to be? I mean, that's huge. Anytime, but
pulling up our weather. Weather's brought to you by Kellen Solar. Lumsden, Saskatchewan. Lots of sun in Saskatchewan. Get solar. Oh,
but you know what? With all the implications going into it, though, I think that as we pump it up, and everybody else kind of is, talking about, as we said, rider parties, barbecues, parties in the garage, for those in Regina and a lot of people from Saskatoon that make the trip, those that do that, I think they'll be fired up for this one. Plus, they might be. You referred to everybody as a guy. They might be a fair weather guy. Fair weather guy. This might be his last game, because after this.
Because he doesn't want it.
Fair weather guy.
He needs to look good. He wears the designer jacket. Can't wear a toque. I'm doing my hair. Got this expensive gel. A bronzer. If it's windy, the bronzer wears off. Yeah, I get it. Fair weather guy. This is your last kick. Go ahead, Colson.
Saturday the 12th, high of 17, low of 3, mix of sun and cloud.
Wind
doesn't say. You can blame Weather Canada for that, but I don't see.
Damn you, Weather Canada.
Yeah.
They're holding off.
17 degrees.
Extend themselves. That's nice.
17 degrees for a football game. Awesome.
It'll be dipping down after that. But yeah, it'll be probably, let's just say the high is 17, 5 o'clock, probably 15 by the time the game's over. I don't know, 9 or 10? Pretty good.
Awesome.
It's just the wind. It's just the wind.
Says gusts of 21, steady wind of 10.
That's normal.
That's nothing.
That's normal. What when you look at the game in Edmonton, what pops out at you?
What I like right off the hop, and it really got me out of my seat, is that when Edmonton did answer, or Edmonton punched, I guess, off the top because they got the first score, is that Saskatchewan answered and counterpunched. And I thought it was a nice job by Harris distributing the ball all over the place. That really stood out to me, too. Just a well-played game, I think, all around. But like I said, right off the hop, I thought, uh-oh, underestimated the Elks. Here we go. And no, they responded. So I thought it showed a lot of maturity.
I feel that there's been a few of those this year where it's like, right, talking to Luke, it's like, Riders need to start strong. Nice, need to start hot. And then they don't. And it's like, don't worry. Like, that play to Emilus for 88 yards when Harris kind of looks off the safety.
Yep.
And then comes back to him.
That was beautiful. I was watching it again today. He drops it in the bucket, and Shink, you know this. He dropped it right in the bucket. And
unbelievable.
With that one, it's so perfect because as the receiver, you're almost basically running into the ball. So it makes it so much easier to catch and then just not break stride, obviously, right? Like that was a perfect example of that.
Harris is a good quarterback when he gets time. Like, I know people will rag on him a bit, or they have this year. He's older. But that's great. It's called experience. But when he gets time and he's upright, man, I like how he doesn't panic. He's a quarterback. Again, not a video game. He's thrown some questionable balls throughout the year. They've played a lot of football games. That's bound to happen. But when he gets the time to stand in that pocket, and kudos to the O-line again. Yeah, he did, But Edmonton's playing for their lives. Like, that's the other thing. Like, we're going to see Calgary in 2 weeks here. playing for nothing. That'll be interesting, right? But Edmonton's playing for their lives. And it's kind of like what BC is going to bring in on Saturday.
Yep.
Like, it's intense. It's crunch time. Coach Mace, after the game, talks about the defense learning from the last meeting against the Elks, which I thought perfect. That's what should happen. We also learn what STB means.
Well, without further ado, let's go down to the winning locker room of the Saskatchewan Roughriders for Coach Mason, his post-game comments. Brought to you by KFC. Their new spicy and original recipe snacker wraps are here. And right now, you can get 2 for just $5. Luke Mullender, go ahead.
Sorry, we're just letting the firework display dissipate. It's an awkward time for fireworks considering that was the end of the season for the Edmonton Elks, but whatever. I got the game-winning coach. Listen, Coach, I know that your goal is to go 1-0 every week. This came in feeling a little bit bigger. This was a really difficult building to play in at its height. It seemed like that today. Edmonton played really well. Talk about your reaction without seeing the film.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, just so proud of this team. Regardless, you're right, man. We really do. We really focus on trying to just go 1-0 each week, and then we found a way to get that done today. Was it pretty? No, not as pretty as we probably like it to be in totality, but we finished 1-0, so I'm extremely pleased with that, and I'm elated for the guys.
It felt like, and this is coming from a guy who gets the privilege of traveling with the team, it felt like the team was a little bit looser this week coming into Edmonton.
Yeah, maybe. I think, we don't really focus too much on everything that's implied. Like we know, we hear the outside noise, but it's just we focus so much on just trying to get better at what we do. And this is a team. I know what the record says, but Edmonton, they got some. They're a talented team, man. Yeah. They give a lot of teams a tough time, and we knew it was going to be a challenge for ourselves, specifically coming in here to their building, with their backs against the wall as well. So I can't say enough how proud I am. I know how proud this staff is of this team.
They seemed to catch their stride early on in the first half, but especially offensively, seemed like it loosened up for you guys in the second half. What were the adjustments? What were the thoughts at the halftime break? Yeah,
offensively with Edmonton first, I thought they did a good job. They knew that they ran the ball on us pretty extensively that first game, and there was a lot of man hours making sure that we wouldn't allow that to happen again, and they did a really good job taking advantage of that, getting us into certain situations and airing the ball out, and we just finally locked in defensively, and then offensively, same thing, man. I thought we drove the ball fairly well, and obviously with 7 back there in the pocket, it allows us to make plays, and that's what he did tonight. He ended up getting the game ball for us, and he deserves it.
Schematically, one of the more interesting situations, I'm really interested in jumping into your mind. It was 3rd and 1 late in that fourth quarter, and you elected to punt. Seemed like a really manageable 3rd down, but talk to what went into that decision. It worked out. Yeah, no, I thought so. I think prior to that as well, I think we got stopped on the 2nd and 1 on the short yardage, and we lost yards. So just playing it, really trying to put it into the defense's hands, trusting that, our cover teams were excellent all night. They'd be able to pin them down there and let the defense play ball. So, earlier in the game, we ended up, going for a bunch of those, and we were moving it good, but just didn't feel the risk reward there in that situation with the way our defense was playing at that moment. Thought it was better for us to go ahead and kick the ball. I feel like on film you're going to see a lot of great effort to the football. Did you notice that on side? I thought it was terrific, specifically from the secondary and the linebackers today. Yeah, we preach that. We preach STB, which is sprint to ball, and because good things happen around the ball, as you saw towards the end there with I think Amari Henderson ended up punching the ball out. If you're not running to the ball as a unit, there's no way to recover that. So extremely proud of that. Schematically, I'm sure there's going to be tons of stuff that we're going to want to fix, as there is every game, to be honest with you. But the basics and the nuances of who we are, turning the ball over, sprinting to the ball, I thought we did a great job at that tonight. Coach, final question. How do you take the momentum that you've curated here today, right, but get back into the film room, focus on the next opponent, get this team continued on their sort of trajectory playing high-level football going into the playoffs. How do you maintain that and not let sort of it get out of hand?
No, just that. I mean, we spoke about it already in the locker room here. We want to enjoy this. But, we got to focus to find a way to go 1-0. There's still a lot of stuff to play for us, because we have a couple games remaining in the season. And there's a lot of things we identify that we want to get better at as a team. We got opportunities to do that. So focus on those and focus going 1-0 next week.
Coach, as a team, we haven't been to the playoffs in 2 years. I want to congratulate you on your first year, man. Great job.
Appreciate it. Congrats, Rider Nation. Let's keep going. 1-0.
Sprint to ball. Very evident on the interception in the second half. Sprint to ball. Makes sense. Were you ever taught that in your junior football days?
Yeah.
Probably
I
called
think it's
something else.
Yeah, not sprint the ball, but it was called hustle your arse, or you're going to be sitting on the bench. I don't know, something like
yes.
that. But in high school,
what's the acronym
that's
on
what
that
it was. Hustle your Y-A or on the bench. Yeah, and good things happen though. Adam O'Clair, that's why he got that interception, of course, because he was right there when it got bobbled in the air. He picked it up and made the most of that opportunity. So yeah, I mean, just those little things like that. But if you're going to be doing those little things, you're going to get rewarded. But if you're going to be doing those little things, it also goes to show you that you have a great attitude. Everybody's buying in. You don't think you're better than doing those little things. And when you got a team doing that, and the leaders doing that, and the vets and the stars doing that, that's just a great locker room culture, and that's a great team culture. And I think that's where the Riders are, thanks to that first-year coaching staff. Corey Mace leading the way.
Yeah. Amari Henderson, I wouldn't say we've been hard on him. I know Rider Nation has somewhat been hard on him. And he did get picked on for sure. Montreal was here. They're picking on him. I think even Edmonton the last time they were around. But that timely punch out on Gittins, the old punch out, that is, yes, that's a lot on the player, but that's the kind of playoff type play coaching, right? Timely.
Yeah, and that's something you're talking about where you taught that. Well, it was definitely taught that. You're going to be trailing a guy, and in that play, whatever, you can talk about whether he should have had him or not. But anyway, you're trailing a guy. Mm-hmm. You can jump on his back and you can bring him down, or just gain on him and then grab his jersey and then punch it with the other one. And that's exactly. It was total textbook. It was perfect. That play, Shank, is I can picture myself in the film room for the Hilltops. A lot of times I'd be like, Coach Humbert would be going, so, Bids, just exactly what was going through your head on this one? Like, why would you think it'd be a good idea to jump this route? And then, and so it was more of that. But in the film room for Henderson on that play, they'll play that 2 or 3 times, and the coach will be saying, this is exactly what you guys do. This is what we need to win games, especially as we move towards the Grey Cup, is we need to be thinking of turnovers. And when you are behind a guy, don't just drag him down. Punch the ball loose, man. Go for it. And that's exactly what he did. Textbook. That was awesome.
We will chat more about the Riders, of course, throughout the program. We got Dave Thomas coming up in a bit. Like I said, we have Coach Marc Mueller. If you want a question for us to ask him, 936-6262, or for Darian Durant, who's coming up in hour 3. You're listening to the all-new SportsCage on 620 CKRM, and now watching the live stream on X and on YouTube. You just got to go to sportscage.com. Welcome back, Shank, Bidsy, Coulson, and Curtis here. Staying with football, University of Regina Rams drop a heartbreaker, 23-20, to the Calgary Dinos on Saturday. I don't know how windy it was up north, but it was like gusting 90. I think there was some parts it was close to 100. I have no idea how they executed any football plays that weren't absolute just dive pattern.
Yeah.
Dive run.
I'll tell you. So I came from Saskatoon to Regina for the Rams game, and it was windy as heck in Saskatoon. It got quite a bit windier as I approached Regina. Mm-hmm. Then when I drove into Regina, I'm on Pasqua turning into Leuven, and I'm stopped at a red light, and the Jeep is shaking. It is shaking. The vehicle is shaking. I was thinking, oh my God, when I get out of here, this is going to be a disaster. I'm going to have to be kind of walking on a tilt into Mosaic Stadium. So we got in there, and we're just watching the guys before, and the banners. We knew it was going to be bad when we saw the banners on some of the poles right outside the main entrance to Mosaic. We saw them starting to tear apart, and then slowly, after about another 5 minutes, they just flew away. They were gone. All the banners got torn apart, and they're just dust. They're gone. And during the game, the refs were chasing their hats all the time. They'd throw a flag down, and the flag would take off down the field. The ball bags that they had on the sidelines, like on either bench, because they had the footballs taken out of them. They're flying down the sidelines and onto the field. The wind was crazy. And this is playing at Mosaic Stadium with the field about 4 stories below grade.
Good point.
In the lower bowl, right? So if it was on ground level, I don't know what would have happened. But whenever they kicked it, you could see that it was, as soon as it kind of got high up in the bowl where it was being affected by the wind at ground level, the ball would just stop and it would drop straight down. It was something, man.
I talked to a parent that their kids were playing like bantam or peewee football that day, which wasn't 4 stories below at Mosaic Stadium in the bowl. They were outside, and wow. Like, and they said actually they executed some passes, and I was like, that is really impressive. But nonetheless, tough one for the Rams. Pretty much seals their deal now. 23-20. Huskies.
It seals their deal for a home playoff date for sure. But it's a little wacky still in U Sports in Canada West, Shink. So they still could. They need some help. They got to beat the Huskies. And the Huskies didn't make it any easier by thumping U of M the day before.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's tough. It's the old you need a lot of help scenario. Now you need a lot of things to go your way. Regina Thunder dispose of the Calgary Dinos in junior football. Hilltops, keep rolling up north. So now we got a little PFC playoff action. Not, correct me, who does the Hilltops, who do they play playoff-wise? Because I think the Rams and Thunder and Dinos go at it again. Thunder and Calgary Colts. I'm getting all the CIS junior football thing mixed up here. But it's going to be Calgary and the Thunder again. This time, again, back here.
Yeah, and in Saskatoon, it will be on Sunday afternoon at SMF Field. In the other semifinal, it will be the Hilltops hosting the Edmonton Huskies. They played the Huskies on the weekend on Sunday yesterday, and they narrowly beat them, 21-14. So you never know. Hey, Mike Tyson got knocked out by Buster Douglas, so you never know what could happen. But the Hilltops would be the favorite. They go undefeated again. Last year, they were 12-0, winning the national title. This year, they're 8-0 in the regular season, so they've won 20 in a row over the last 2 years. And, they host the Huskies in the other semi.
The Edmonton Huskies, they need to be watching that fight. This is the Tokyo Dome in 1990, where Buster Douglas had no business beating Mike Tyson. So it looks like we are gearing up for, in a couple of weeks, I would say, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say a Thunder Hilltops Prairie Junior Football final, which is fantastic, and it will be up in Saskatoon because they're Hilltops have
and
won
they
twice.
won the matchup.
Huskies
and
Huskies Hilltops. You people, the Hilltops Thunder.
That's right.
Yes,
that's right.
When you look at back to the Riders now, Nathan Rourke coming in here. We think next this coming weekend.
Yep.
It's like, I don't want to say it's Jekyll and Hyde. I have no idea what to expect from this guy. Is he going to hit his stride all of a sudden? Like you said, like Colson said, it's not going to be cold. It's not going to be overly windy. So the conditions will be fairly decent when it comes. it's just like a little bit scary because he hasn't looked fantastic. And at some point, he's going to have like the coming out party.
I agree. It's going to make me nervous, too. I'm going to be down on the sidelines early, as I usually am, and I'm just going to be, I don't know, trying to stare bad luck into him, bad juju into him, because he does scare me a little bit, because we know he has the ability to absolutely light it up and just put up some huge passing yards, and you just don't know when that's going to happen, right? So hopefully the Riders' defense can get to him early and get him feeling like, in his own mind maybe, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen today. I don't think that giant game is going to happen for me today. Hopefully he ends up on his back early, and they don't allow him to get into a bit of a rhythm or a roll. But yes, he does worry me because he has the potential of having a huge breakout game.
He had 218 yards against Calgary in the 32-15 win. Not a spectacular day. 20 of 24. So, like, not off the charts. 3 rushes
Efficient.
for 23. 3 rushes for 23 yards. Efficient. He's a game manager, or he was the other night. He had some interesting comments, though, about the Saskatchewan Roughriders from this weekend.
The Roughriders play Elks tomorrow, and a Roughriders win gives you guys a playoff.
Okay. I don't think I'd ever want to go root for the Roughriders, to be honest. Not at this point in my career, no. So, but we're watching that game.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
why
I
not?
wouldn't expect him to say, "Yeah, I'm rooting for the green and white." He's got enough issues.
Yeah. Well, there's teams as well, too. I mean, you could probably ask a lot of guys on the Riders if they ever would root for the Bombers or something like that. So, hey, you know what? He obviously gets a little bit of it on the sideline, probably, or has heard a little bit of something from someone of the Rider Nation along his way that makes him say that. And he's probably going to get a little more now. So that's fine. That's fine. It's just another storyline that's going to turn up the heat on this game, I think, on Saturday, Shank. I think it's going to be big numbers. I think it's going to be a great attendance. I know a lot of people are fired up over it. I know a lot of people are going to pack the establishments. People are going to be going to their different butcher shops and loading up for the barbecue.
Yes.
And I think it's got the makings for an excellent weekend here in October for football.
Yeah, good day it's always a good day for a butcher shop, but especially coming up Thanksgiving long weekend. What is the score? It's time for our winning segment of the game. SaskTel, pick the score. What do you figure the score is coming up here this weekend? BC in town to take on the Riders. We are going to award 2 tickets to that game today, and Colson's going to spin the wheel of winning a little bit later on. If you're nice and close to, we pick you. You have a chance to win a $200 SaskTel gift card. It's all brought to you by our friends at SaskTel. Capital Ford Lincoln text line 936-6262. What do you think the score is this weekend, Lions and Riders? Time to take a break. When we come back, we are going to talk hockey from the weekend. What happened? Junior ranks around these parts. It's the all-new SportsCage on SportsCage.com. Bidsy, Colson, Curtis. I'm Barney Shinkarek here. We have we're almost up, almost the top of the hour. Let's go through the hockey scene from the weekend. Bidsy, Regina Pats beat the Edmonton Oil Kings in a shootout 3-2 the other night. Corbin Allman scoring the shootout winner for the Pats. Kelton Pine in net. Great job there. Also, Tyson Buchakowski scored his first goal as a Regina Pat. Ty Spencer also scored in the shootout. Tanner Howe, Pat's captain, though, tough one. They've announced he's kind of week to week with an upper body injury. Moose Jaw doubled up the high-flying Medicine Hat Tigers 6-3 Saturday night. Braden Yeager, 1 goal, 2 assists. Braden Sherman had 2 goals. Medicine Hat, they've acquired goalie Harrison Menigan from Lethbridge. So they're loading up to make their run there. Also Saturday, Swifty was 4-3 over Brandon. Everett 5-4 over Saskatoon in overtime. Landon DuPont, 2009 exceptional player. He had 1 assist. He's in Regina Wednesday night. You catching any wind? I guess he was pretty impressive on the ice up there in Saskatoon on the weekend.
Well, yeah, that exceptional status carries players like that are ones that are must-see, and you want to make sure that you catch them so you can say, I remember when, before he made it and became a huge star. Now, just going back really quickly, you mentioned Buchkowski. Is that the son of Paul Buchkowski?
It's one of the sons
of the Saskatoon Blades?
One of the sons of Paul Buchkowski, yes.
Oh, wow. Just another example of the apple not falling far from the tree, eh? Is he a thick kid, too? Because Buchkowski was not very tall, but he was built like a fire hydrant. He was thick.
I don't know about Tyson, but I know the Twins play against my son. They're 2011s. The Twins have a ways to go to get that Buchkowski built. But then he rode BMXs so hard, right? So his legs and... but that is the son. SJHL. It was our Southie mainline Chrysler worth the drive trip, and it sure was both ways. Like Benny Walchuk said, it would be Melville and Melfort had their home and home. They split it. 3-1 Melville Friday night up at the Northern Lights Palace, and then they came back to Melville, and it was 4-3 Melfort Saturday in overtime. Talk about two great hockey games. So Benny Walchuk, he's got big shoes to fill again this week. What is going to be his Southie Mainline Chrysler game of the week? Speaking of Southie Mainline Chrysler, they got $1,500 bonus cash on Jeep Grand Cherokees right now. Elsewhere, Saturday, Estevan doubled up Flin Flon 4-2, Weyburn 6-2 over Nipawin, Humboldt 4-1 over Kindo, Battleford 4, LA is in Larange 3, and then yesterday, Humboldt finally beat the Yorkton Terriers. Humboldt dumped them. So that's your SJHL report. We got the SJHL report coming up tomorrow with Benny Walchuk for Southie Mainline Chrysler. But that Melfort lived up to the hype. When you get a home and home like that, and then game 2 goes into overtime.
Yeah. You know what? Melfort, of course, going all the way to the national championship last year, looking strong once again. But as you mentioned, some of those other teams, Yorkton finally getting a loss. Humboldt's coming around. I'm sure they'll continue to get stronger as they usually do under the tutelage of former North Battleford North Stars coach, now Humboldt Broncos head coach, Braden Klamosko. SJHL, very exciting, and a lot of real good teams. So, looking forward to how this is all going to continue to play out. But Yorkton Terriers, got to give it to them, coming back and very strong this year, at least to start.
Oh, hot off the presses, too. We have the SJHL Power Rankings on SportsCage.com. I'll make you can go there. You can click the stream and watch us two hobos on the screen, or you can just go and check out the latest SJHL Power Rankings. I'm going to tell you, we have a new team as number 1. And like I said, we'll talk to Benny Walchuk about that tomorrow. Quickly, U of S Huskies beat the U of R Cougar men twice in CIS hockey, but the women Cougars start the year 2-0 as they dumped the Huskies in a couple. And then just one AAA U18 male. I know the Pat Canadians are still undefeated, but how about a shout out to the Moose Jaw Warriors, AAA U18 style. 9-1 win over the Saskatoon Contacts on the weekend. Ooh. So Moose Jaw could be formidable this year in the AAA U18 ranks. There's a little hockey rundown for you here on the Sports Cage. It's an hour in the books. When we come back in hour 2, we got Dave Thomas. We got Marc Mueller playing SaskTel Pick the Score. We're getting the scores in here. 936-6262. If you're watching on SportsCage.com, thank you very much. And as always, we are on 620 CKRM. This is the instrumental version. See, if we're ever going to do karaoke to this, this is the one we do. Oh, there we go. There's voices. Oh. Oh, I wish the stream
I wonder
was.
if
I wish
anybody's
there was some
ever
things
done
in the stream to be sure right now because it's really funny. Barney Shinkaruk, Derek Bidwell, Colson, and Curtis, soon to be joined by Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Pick the score.
Imagine how you would. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, Shank, and then when you're done. Sorry, I'm just going to add in a little note.
Everybody so far in Pick the Score that I'm looking at is picking the Riders. SaskTel Pick the Score, 936-6262. What do you think the score is this weekend between the BC Lions and Saskatchewan Roughriders? And, we're going to give you 2 tickets if you win the Wheel of Winning with Colson later. You get 2 tickets to the game this weekend and a chance to win a $200 SaskTel gift card. So it's all beautiful. And before we forget, Bidsy, I know you were wondering about the Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation 50-50 this week. Like, where's the trip, the early bird? And I said, I don't know. I said, Bidsy, I don't have like a direct line to the Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation 50-50. But now we know. If you're going to get your ticket before Thursday at 5 p.m., the early bird prize, Las Vegas getaway. Oh, yeah. Obviously includes flights. You're not going on a bus. So it includes flights, 3 nights accommodations for 2 at the Videra Hotel and Spa right in City Center there. Perfect spot. Limo transfers, or you can take $3,600 cash. So there you go. Las Vegas Getaway Riders, 5050.ca. Buy those tickets before Thursday at 5 p.m. Then you're also in to win the 50. You're also in to win the early bird. And then the 50-50 for the big game on the weekend. Sorry, what did you want to chime in with there?
I just wanted to chime in quickly about you said if we were doing karaoke, this is the instrumental, and then we would be singing along. But my point was, could you imagine if you were in the Queen City or Saskatoon, or imagine like
North
Aylesbury at the Elephant Bar after a Riders win and they do karaoke and you come up with that one. You know there's the Sweet Carolines and there's some of the other songs that when you pipe those up at a karaoke bar, everybody chimes in and they all get into it with you. Imagine doing the Rider Pride song at like the Aylesbury Elephant Bar on karaoke after the Riders win.
I smell what you're cooking there. That's not a bad idea, Bidsy. We're going to chalk that up on the big board, boys. That could be Bidsy's top. Colson's getting out the notepad. Bidsy's top idea ever. It is now karaoke to the Riders song. Let's speak in. The guy that was lip syncing that song as we came back from break, you couldn't see him out there in the streaming land, but he was going hard. Voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dave Thomas on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Dave, would that be your go-to? In all the Rider songs, what would be your go-to if you had to do karaoke?
I'm a little partial to green as the color, but Rider Pride's up there.
Green is the color? There's no wrong answer. Green is the color. That's not a bad one. Bidsy, would you do Rider Pride?
Oh, yeah, I would do Rider Pride, especially after that great idea. I can envision.
Yeah.
I can even see us up there, Shink, you and I on the stage doing.
No.
No.
You go. We're all doing our own.
This is all solo? Oh, okay. Well, then I'm doing Rider Pride. And, I'm doing that to the karaoke.
Saskatchewan Pirate. That's
me.
Barney's jam.
Nah. No, I am Otto on Roughriders. Because you just can't get that song out of your head when you hear it.
True.
Yeah, that's okay.
What did you call it?
It's on Roughriders. On Rough Rider. Colson, what was it's an original, like the Nebraska Cornhuskers or Wisconsin Badgers?
Wisconsin. Hold on,
from like the early 19, like old school.
You can tell.
Yeah, give me
Curtis,
a minute.
flip the Colson there.
Got to pull this up.
Yeah. It sounds like It sounds like it could be a Wisconsin Badgers kind of thing back in the early day.
When I was looking them up, I would have to find the page now. But when I was looking them up, it was, I think, Rider Pride is the only one of the 2 Rough Rider victory songs that is the only original one. All the other ones are copied from somebody else. Like Green is the color. I think it's Blue is the color for Liverpool or something is originally what it is.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, it's a soccer one.
But on Rough Riders it was originally on Wisconsin, which is back from 19 something. I'm trying to find it.
Educational program here. Educational program. David. Let's go back to the game on Saturday. From what we maybe were listening to, where you were close to the game, what jumps out at you? What surprised you in that game Saturday as the guy calling it?
I think I was surprised with the stick-to-itiveness of the Edmonton Elks. Again, they had their backs up against the wall. Anything that's blown up against them has really gone ahead and blown up against them. And yeah, they had some of their own implosions in that game on Saturday night, but they didn't quit. They didn't give up. And there was a couple of points in the game where I thought, okay, this is it. They're going to go ahead. They're going to pack their bags and they're going to be gone. But they battled right to the end, and you got to give them credit for that. And that was kind of what stuck with me. The Roughriders, I thought, were dominant from start to finish. They got a couple of breaks along the way that helped. But again, good teams find ways to win, and that's what the Riders did.
Totally agree on that. You know, the one thing that jumped out to me early is there's been a lot of instances where the Riders have shut teams down on the one from the 1 yard line as they're trying to punch it in. And Edmonton, they went with that old fake dive pitch out. And I was like, aha, because I was waiting for a team to do that. And then I'm like, there it is. Because the Riders have been scary there. If you're an opposing team, and you're opposing coach, and you have to make a call there, it's like, oh man, do we want to go with the regular up because they've just been shutting everyone down, right, Dave?
I agree, and a lot of that has first and foremost, to back that up with numbers for you. The Riders are number 2 when it comes down to stopping teams third and short, but they've done it more than anybody else has done it in the Canadian Football League. So by percentage points, they're just off from being tops in the league. But a lot of that goes to the interior line, right? Miles Brown, Micah Johnson, those guys, they just eat up blocks in the middle on those short yardage situations. And that's one of the things that the Riders can really hang their hats on being so good. And of course, the Edmonton Elks, all credit to them, had to make an adjustment, and they did. So now it'll be interesting to see what the counter adjustment, if there is one, that will be made by head coach Corey Mace and defensive coordinator Corey Mace.
All right, Dave. So now, before we talk about how awesome our Saskatchewan Roughriders are as they get ready to host the BC Lions with a chance to host a semifinal football game at Mosaic Stadium, quickly, one more question about the Elks. Now that they're out of it, I assume they're blowing that thing up there. Will there be anybody left standing that is part of this group? Of course, they got a new ownership group as well. So what do you think? Or did you talk to some of your colleagues, Edmonton colleagues, while you were there, and what did they say about it all? What do you think?
It's very interesting. There's a number of people that kind of suggested to me that perhaps Jarius Jackson lost his job in that game, in the fact that the interim title isn't going to be removed and he won't be retained at the end of the year, pointing to the fact that there was a couple of strategic errors. The one where he threw the challenge flag when he wasn't able to challenge the play that was on the field, that maybe cost him a couple of other opportunities later on in the football game to challenge plays. So there's that. What are they going to do with Trey Ford? That's the biggest question, right? So I think either the Elks are going to have to go ahead and commit to him, or they're going to have to get off the pot and move on. And I don't know what that will be, whether that looks like Cloud Bethel Thompson. There's lots of talk about Vernon Adams Jr. So I think it's just a shamble. And right now, the new owner, Larry Thompson, has got some big, tough decisions that he's going to have to make.
Yeah, and it starts with, the quarterback position.
Yeah, but here's a good one. Can I just, one thing that is my takeaway from Commonwealth Stadium, we are so lucky with the show that the Saskatchewan Roughriders put on game in and game out at Mosaic Stadium, like the Price is Right game, which I finally had a chance to see. But the new one at Commonwealth Stadium, remember a few weeks back during the Labor Day rematch when the new owner was driving the fire truck? They drove it into the Calgary Stampeder bench. Yeah. So they have now what's called Larry's Fire Truck Race, where they go ahead and they strap these fire truck cardboard boxes onto contestants who have to sprint down the field. Top drawer. Top drawer. Not The Price is Right, but it was still pretty intuitive, I thought.
Nice.
That's I wonder if that I should message him. Evan Dom's brainchild, their former Regina Pat employee, son of legendary coach Rob Dom. He's with the marketing team in Edmonton. That's a great. I'm glad you threw that out there, Dave. That made my day. That is funny. Okay, here, fellas. I don't know if you guys saw, and if you haven't, go to SportsCage Twitter, and you want to scroll down a little bit, but I don't put a lot on there on the SportsCage Twitter, but usually when it's a smart aleck tweet, it's a good chance that it's mine. Okay, full disclosure. So I put that tweet about, is this not a low hit on Shea Patterson as he's in for short yardage? The one rebuttal was good from one person that was like, yeah, but he's a runner at that point. But is he? Like, when Strevler drops back one and lets it ball, like he could be faking that and then diving forward. You don't really know. It was more to kind of be a little bit facetious, but it was like, hey, as the rule, he got hit low there.
Yeah, and that's such a fine line, and I think that the command center has realized we got to go ahead and stop chiming in on this. If the officials believe he's a runner, and they're going to have the best take on it, right? Because they're right there. If they believe he's a runner, then he's got to be a runner in that instance. And again, I don't want to see anybody take a low shot, like especially a quarterback in that situation. But to my mind, again, was it? Yeah, probably was. Was he a runner? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I just the command center, McLeod Bethel Thompson's going to get in trouble. He's going to get fined again because the command center jumps in on the catch, which wasn't a catch. And I know he's up in arms, and a lot of people are up in arms. They chime in there. It's good, though, because the ball clearly hits the ground, people.
I wasn't sure that it had. When I saw the looks that we got in the booth, and again, we don't get all of the looks that you get at home as a television audience, and of course, we're in Edmonton, so we're not going to get the looks because they're not going to put up anything on the scoreboard that could have any remote way of showing it wasn't a catch. But yeah, he was erroneous in his complaint, stating that the command center shouldn't have looked at it because they didn't rule on the field that it was a touchdown. His belief was that, a scoring play must be reviewed, but the verbiage in the rule book is that a potential scoring play can be or should be reviewed. And so the command center was, hey, we're looking at this to see whether or not he got in. And, look at that. He didn't catch the ball either. So then they, of course, fixed that egregious error.
I'm kudos to the command center on that. And not just because Rider guy, it was the Riders. But yes, chime in on that. Jump in when the ball, you can see, hold on, maybe Chikai, the ball hit the ground there. Yes, perfect, I think. How long did it take? Was it a little bit too long? Because I don't like the long stoppages. I can't remember off the top of my head.
It was a longer review process on that one for sure. The other one that took a long time, and I wasn't sure how it was going to work, was the third successful challenge of the year for Corey Mate, right? Late in the game. Yeah, the pass interference call, because you could, that's a rub route, right? Like there is meant to be contact in that route. And it just so happened Jarvis Stearns, who comes out of nowhere, right? Sits 6 games and then comes on and has a monster performance in Edmonton. Irregardless, he gets hammered there on that play. And I didn't think that they were going to call it. I thought it was too close, and they're not going to go ahead and call a play that wasn't called on the field on that one.
So Dave, what was the mood like after? These guys now have won 3 in a row. They hold their fate in their own hands. They have a chance to beat the BC Lions at home in front of Rider Nation, which should be an awesome game. I'm sure it'll be a great crowd, a very energetic crowd. But what's the mood like with these guys? Do you get the sense that they are, excited, of course, with the success they've had, but still realizing that there's a lot still ahead for them?
I would suggest it isn't lip service. What the Riders are saying publicly is exactly what happened, is that they were going to go ahead and take some time to celebrate the fact that they had clinched a playoff spot. No, they didn't bring out champagne and goggles, baseball fans. But
one of the dumbest things ever.
I knew I'd get you on that, Barney. I knew it. But they were very much a relaxed group. I wouldn't say relieved, but they were very happy. Obviously, you get the third straight win. You're in the playoffs. But then as we're coming back into Regina, There's guys going by me while I'm watching my reruns of The Office on Netflix. They're going by me to get game film for BC. They're getting ready to go. So it wasn't just, hey, we're going to move on to the next one and we want to go on. No, it's true. This team knows that they need to be better going down the stretch run. They're playing well, but they can be better. And that's kind of the tone that I got, is that, yeah, you know what? We're happy, but we're definitely not satisfied.
Now, you said you're watching reruns of The Office on the plane. So have you seen them all? Is Office your go-to?
It is when I'm trying to sleep, to tell you the truth.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that says.
I don't know. Yeah, no, I've watched all of them, yeah. There've been a few roadies in this day.
There are so many good ones. It's like Seinfeld. So many good ones. The one I was just thinking about the other day was when Michael has everybody over because he buys the big screen TV, or he buys the flat screen TV, and it's like a computer monitor.
and Jan breaks it with his what was it? What were the awards called on this show?
Michael and Jan, what a couple. Rod, shout out Rod here in Regina, 936-6262, the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. He wants us to ask this question to Marc Mueller coming up here in about 20 minutes time. He also wants us to ask you, Dave. He's confused as to why the Riders don't use the running backs more out of the passing game.
That's a great question, and sometimes they're not in the progression. And the one thing that Trevor Harris talked about following the football game is, I'm like, oh yeah, Jareth Stern's your favorite, right? Kind of being a smart aleck. And no, he goes through his progressions, and if the guy's open, he's going to get the football. And generally, the running backs are kind of a release valve for the Riders. A lot of times, you'll see the Riders, in my estimation, use them in protection schemes, so they don't get out into the pattern as often as you would see. And again, with the big physical back that they were planning in AJ Ouellette, that's probably more up his alley, is blocking as opposed to getting out in the passing game. Now, we did see Frankie Hickson catch a couple of passes last week, and I think that can definitely be, moving forward, something that we see more from the Riders. It's just Trevor Harris has got his progressions, and when he sees the guy and the look that he wants, he's going to take the shot.
There's nothing better than when teams run I think they did this to Hickson a couple of weeks ago, where the running back runs out on the linebacker and runs the wheel pattern, the out and up the sideline, and then Harris, it was Hickson, right?
Yeah.
Dropped it right in his mitts, and he just dropped it. But good question, Rod. I will ask Marc Mueller that here coming up momentarily. Maybe they don't want to show it yet too, right? Right? It's close chest vest region. Let's keep those cards there.
Yeah, that's right. But of course, it's such a fine balancing act, which I find intriguing, right? Because you don't want to keep your cards in your pocket. You want to make sure that you've played them. But yeah, you're right. You also don't want to show them too early. So you go back and forth. And that's kind of going to be interesting, I think, this weekend, because who's going to pull out all the stops to get the win? I would assume both teams are, because neither wants to play in the other venue in a potential Western semifinal, albeit the Western final spot is still up for grabs, as Winnipeg hasn't clinched that Dundee yet.
Roland Milligan Jr. is such a stud on defense, of course, for the Riders. Does he ever surprise you? He obviously comes up with the timely picks all the time, but Milligan Jr., maybe just talk about how great he has been, if you can put it into perspective for those who maybe haven't caught all the Rider games this year, just what he's been able to do.
Well, the numbers that he's put up, he's a game short of everybody else on the defensive side. So I know there's a lot of people that say, well, Tyrese Beverette has more tackles when it comes to that statistic for the Montreal Alouettes. And that's very true. But of course, Roland Milligan Jr. also missed a game a couple of weeks ago. And of course, he was with the birth of his youngest daughter. So what I find fascinating is that he is still racking up all these statistics, and he's doing it while teams are playing away from him. Like, they don't want to have him engaged. Like, if I see 0 in the secondary, okay, that's not where I'm going to throw the football. And he's still making all of these defensive plays. And then he's even doing it better on special teams, if you can believe that. There's been no defensive player that's led this league in special teams tackles like he has done. And again, it's unprecedented, the influence that he has on a football game. And like I say, to me, the most surprising thing is, why would you still throw the ball there? Like, why?
Yeah. Can we? Next time I see him, I'm going to shake his hand and apologize to him. Brett Lawther, and I know you talked to him as a 100th game in the league, Dave, but can't underestimate what this guy's doing. Just that confidence now that the team must feel of having the guy there that's going to get you 3. I don't want to jinx him though.
No. Mm-hmm. But again, that's not lip service, right? Like, that's what I'm learning from this group. They say the right things, but more so they do the right things, because you know what? They could have tossed him under the bus when he goes 3 for 7 against Montreal. Since then, he's the best percentage field goal kicker in the league. And they said, you know what? We trust in him. It was a bad night. It was his worst night as a professional. We trust him. We're behind him. We support him. That's what you have to say. But they really did. And he's gone ahead and warranted that confidence by performing on the field. So yeah, it was one off night, and again, you don't want to touch wood, you know, do what Luke Mullender says I do all the time in jinxing kickers, but I'm just saying that you know what, it was an off night for him, and he's done really well since.
Bidsy and I were talking about this earlier, and just that, like, I know people have ragged on him. People have ragged on everybody on this team. They've ragged on us. Like, it's just been one of those years. It's Rider Nation. But Harris, when he gets time to throw the ball, I put him up against anybody in the league. For sure. And that 2nd and 10 late to seal the deal, the ball's on the money, right? It's like he picked his pattern in a video game, boom, hit the button, it was there.
Yeah, no, and again, I don't think you can underestimate what his experience brings with his ability to read the defense and know where that ball has got to go before the snap of the ball happens. And he's able to get rid of it so quickly that he allows even our banged up offensive line, and I should stop saying that because they've earned themselves a lot of credit for the way that they have been playing the last couple of weeks, but he's earned that group a lot of positive accolades because of the fact that he's able to get rid of the ball so quickly. And like you say, it's never seemingly a bad situation. Like, you hear him talk through the pass that he made to Samuel Emelis, right? And that pass wasn't designed to go to Emelis. He was able to make the read, saw the flip of the hips from the safety, and then he just threw the seam route right in behind him into the arms of Emelis. So Trevor Harris, you know what, full marks for his effort. Like, he has found the fountain of youth, and he's done it through the knowledge that he's able to bring to the game and the amount that he can process pre-snap and then once the play starts to develop in front of him.
Can I ask you about Noah Zur, offensive lineman Noah Zur? Of course, you're familiar with him, Dave, as I am, as a member of the U of S Huskies offensive line, and then he goes off over to BC, doesn't really latch on there, and then now, of course, a member of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. We know about the injuries that they've had on the offensive line, but maybe just talk about Noah Zur stepping up, and it just seems like he's getting more and more involved, and when I do try to watch him specifically, it seems like he's showing more and more confidence. It just seems that way through his body language on the field.
Well, first, I'll dispel the rumor. He did not teach Jess Moskaluk to sing out Langenberg way, so we can get rid of that right now, take that off the table. But you're right, absolutely been a nice piece. He's got banged up at the end of training camp, and we had an opportunity to see and follow him and see his progression as a football player and as a person at the University of Saskatchewan. And now he's bringing that into the Canadian Football League. And with Noah, the one thing is that he's one of the most unassuming people, and the fact that he is so nice and so genuine, but the helmet comes on and the intensity ramps up, and you can see his focus, attention to detail. And right now he's playing, right? Like, he's playing the way that, you know, he didn't anticipate coming in. Ryan Sevier got signed ahead of him to be the 6th offensive lineman. And so Noah Zur was coming in as a nice piece, got nicked up in training camp. So he spent the first part of the season watching everyone else around him. But Edwin Harrison, the coach of the offensive line for the Riders, has done a real nice job coaching him up and the entire group. And right now Noah is out there and he's contributing in a big way. As again, you're starting to see the Riders find more ways to get running behind his big body, and him and Trevor Reed, really, 2 very young offensive linemen, have done some great things this season in my estimation. So yeah, Noah Zur, it's great to see a Saskatchewan kid, again, seeming to perform where we perform best on the offensive line.
All right, we got the whole week to talk about it, recap it, and get into what BC brings. Dave, thanks. So what else? What do you got planned? Baseball tonight, probably, or Monday night, or how are you going to balance? Did split screen time?
No, Taylor Swift might be on TV, so I know that's where it's going to be on in my house, right? So it'll be the Kansas City game. So yeah.
Very nice. Ladies and gentlemen, watching on the stream, sportscage.com, you see Dave Thomas. He is the voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, also the narrator of all tours at Schrute Farms. This is the all-new Sports Cage on 620 CKRM. Bidsy, Schenk, Colson, and Curtis here. Looking through some of the scores here on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line, Bidsy. We are starting to get... We're starting to see a number of people picking the BC Lions. High-scoring affair. Everyone's going to the high-scoring affair. But, a lot of BC Lion picks. If you want to get in on that, 936-6262. Chance to win 2 tickets to the game this Saturday, Mosaic Stadium. The BC Lions come to town thanks to our friends at SaskTel. Also, there's a chance to win a $200 SaskTel gift card if you are picked and you are closest to. So get in on that. Maybe we'll have some other Rider tickets to give away as we go along here as well. It's an old-fashioned tease.
I was going to say, is there any chance, like people that are listening are probably thinking, if you text in and pick the BC Lions, you're not getting any tickets.
No.
Or is Colson, or no, they're not, or Colson is unbiased? No.
It's legit. It's a wheel.
I have a spinner. It's completely random. Okay. I don't pick it. If one person texts in, then I pick them. That's really it. But no, we've got a lot of people texting in today.
Okay, good. Just want to reiterate. Okay.
Good question, though. Good question. There are no stupid questions in this program.
Sometimes stupid answers.
Thank you.
Please, there's a lot of people from small town Saskatchewan. I love it as well. But get this one, Bidsy. Back to our karaoke options.
Yep.
We got another Rod messaged in. Actually, no, this one has got no name. Sorry. But they are Sasky. They got a 306 area code. I did green as the color on a bus coming back from Fremont Street in Vegas and had people singing along back in 2005.
Nice. See, that's one of those ones where you remember, it just sticks with you. At that moment, you're feeling like Ferris Bueller, when he was doing the twist and shout on the float in downtown Chicago, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off, when he grabs his gal and they skip school and he's got the red Ferrari and they head downtown Chicago and he takes the float and he's doing twist and shout. And that's just, even when I watch that, I think, oh my God, if that could actually be reality, that would be so amazing. But that would be a smaller version of that, your little arena, that bus. Yeah. Doing a Rider song and having everybody pipe in on it, you'd feel like the king of the world.
Roscoe, shout out Roscoe. That was the guy who messaged it. There we go. It's always an awesome night for Western pizza. That Greek food you just can't get anywhere else, and then the pizza with the generous amount of toppings. Let's go out on that Western Pizza guest hotline. People have been texting in some of the questions for this gentleman. It's time to talk to Marc Mueller from the Saskatchewan Roughriders, offensive coach. Well, Marc, I guess probably breathing a little easier now knowing that you're in the playoffs, but still we'll go to the generic and the old adage, the job's not done, right?
No, not at all. First off, thanks for having me. And but secondly, it's an exciting time here. One of the things that you try to do at the start of every year is make the playoffs. And we've done that, and we got lots of work ahead of us today and in the weeks to come.
Saturday, did things go as planned for you guys offensively against the Elks?
No, I think anytime you play a game, not everything's going to go as planned. I've been fortunate enough to be around football a long time. There's always going to be give and take. Every team in the CFL is good and well coached and has good players. So it's you go into the plan, and sometimes it mostly works or doesn't work or doesn't. Sometimes some plays you give and take, and that's why they let you play 60 minutes. And some things were worked as designed, but a lot of the times it's having other other read progressions or other ways to get into a better play. And I think our players have done a good job of doing that.
Like you said, you've been around the game a long time. You look at what this offensive line has done, what the coaching staff has done, and the offensive line. Pretty amazing to see where we are now and how many different bodies have been on that line.
Yeah, I mean it's a testament to the whole group. I mean, whether it's the leadership and of guys like Logan Ferland and Peter Godber that have been here for a couple years and or the new leaders like Yoshi and guys that have set the tone at the beginning of the year, and the new guys that have came in. Trevor Reed's played every game and then played to a high level, and guys like Jacob Brammer or Nick Jones or Trevon Tate. Like, you could name, it would take us almost the entire segment to name all the guys that have played, and it's been those guys work extremely hard, and it's a group that takes a lot of pride, and we're very fortunate that that we found we've had guys here since camp, and then if not, we've brought some guys in that can play, and that's a testament to the personnel department and those guys working when they get in. Ed does a great job with those guys, and those guys work hard every day, and they all act as if they're going to play, and that's the only way to do it in this business. And we're very fortunate to have a group like that.
Mark, I was going to ask you, what's it like being the offensive coordinator for the Saskatchewan Roughriders? I'm sure everybody has got a great idea of what the offense should look like. It reminds me of Paul Newman's character in Slapshot, Reg Dunlop, when somebody says something about the power play, and he's like, yeah, we're working on it. Yeah. So when somebody says something to you, like, you must get that all the time, and obviously you roll with the punches. What's it like being the OC for the Riders?
Well, I mean, first off, it's it's always something that's I always wanted to be an offensive coordinator, and so it's like a dream come true to get to not only be that, but to do it in the town that I grew up with, around family and friends, and to do it with a great group of guys. Obviously very fortunate for Corey, and not to jump around the question, but Slapshot's one of my favorite movies of all time. I mean, that's a great reference. I love that. And, I think it's no different than anywhere else. I mean, it's probably the same in most cities. I've only we've been an offensive coordinator here, and I think that the best part about Regina is that it's a community team, and everyone feels a part of it, and everyone is a part of it. And I think that you'd rather have that than the alternative. And the passion it comes from a place of loving and care, and I like that. And then I think we all appreciate that this team means so much to the community, and hopefully there's a whole bunch of people cheering on Saturday at Mosaic.
Rider Nation, we might have to get Marc Mueller a 3/4 length red Dunlop leather jacket here.
I have one.
Do you have that?
I have the jersey. I have a jersey, but not the leather jacket. I have the jersey somewhere. I think I got it like 10 years ago, so it might be tight. I might have to stretch it out. But I definitely have the red Dunlop jersey.
I can just envision it now, walking into the stadium with the leather, with the Reg Dunlop leather, and then it would look fantastic. Yeah. Marc Mueller joining us here on the all-new SportsCage. Mark, there's been a lot, along with the offensive line, there's been a lot of switches too, running back-wise. I like it, right? Like, I think, the team can't key on a guy. You got somebody new in there. We got, all of a sudden, Thomas the Train's in, and then Hickson's in, and then, is Olette coming back? Biggest challenges, though, for you as an OC when you're going through, and then what are the things that you like about, I guess, having a kind of a new treat of the week?
I think that it's with the different backs in there. It's just trying to get into a rhythm of what certain guys like and how they feel, and sometimes it's getting into rhythm and having them see things, see things live, and what type of run plays they see and what type of run plays they're better at. And some of that usually just comes with reps, and it comes with reps behind the offensive line. And so with the kind of the difference in the changes in offensive line and running backs, it's hard to sometimes get a consistency of what kind of plays you like. But I think we've done a good job of catering, I guess is the real term, to what those guys are good at. Different types of backs get different flavors, but I think all those guys have played well and played up to the standard. And the number one thing is always you got to be able to protect the quarterback to be able to get on the field, and those guys do a good job of that.
I was going to say, with the running backs, was it something you guys purposely went after? Like, did you guys go after guys that were different, or is it just that these running backs have a different personality? It's just the way they are.
I think it's more the second part. There's different backs, and there's a million ways you can try to play winning football, and each person that's a bit different adds that uniqueness to the 1/12th on the field, and you try to do when one of those 1/12s is on, you try to bring out the best in them, and you can be a little bit more multiple and things like that when you got different guys out there. But I think it's just first off, getting good players that are good teammates and guys that work hard, and I think the organization has done a good job of that.
Hey, Mark, we had a question here from somebody on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line wanting to know why aren't the Riders using the running backs more in the passing game? Because I'll let you answer that one for the fan.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we try to get everyone involved, and whether it's checkdowns or free releases. I think Frankie had a couple of catches in the game, and we're trying to, we do what we do to try to get first downs, and then our offense morphs every week to how we feel is going to, beat that opponent.
I've wanted to ask you this here for a few weeks now. I want to go through, can you take us through how it works when you guys are challenging something on the offense, when it, maybe it's a PI call, which we get this weekend. How does that work? Who shuttles who's calling who, and how does that process work?
Well, there's a certain amount of people that are involved, and Corey's the head coach, and I'll let him speak to how the challenges work. I'm part of the cog of the guys on the headset, but that's probably more of a head coach question than it is me.
All right, I'm going to chalk that down on that. So I got to ask Reggie Dunlop when we get him on. What about short yardage plays? That's another thing. Are those worked on a lot? And maybe even with your time in Calgary, what you see here, is that something that's worked on a lot?
Yeah, everything that we do during the game, we've practiced before, and at length. But I think for sure, with short yardage, it changes each week because you got different personnel groupings, different people doing it with yourself and the defense, and you try to do what you're good at and what the defense. What they're doing, and you try to attack the best parts of them and their weaknesses. So it's short yardage does change, from week to week or game to game or even in game. Teams do change, and because we're changing, they're changing, and it's definitely a part of the week prep, and it's a very important part because games are at times won and lost on third down or in short yardage.
All right, go ahead, Bids.
I was just going to say, I'll ask this one from a caller in Regina. This is Bob, and he says, a great job, Mark, which is awesome to hear from the fans. His question is, I'm curious, how many offensive plays are there in the entire playbook, and how many do you typically use in a game? Do you schematically plan far ahead, or do you roll with what the game presents to you?
It depends. From week to week, the number changes. It's somewhere probably around that 100 to 120, and I think that there's some that are in every week, and some that either evolve or slightly tweaked from week to week, or as they evolve over time to who's in, who's running them. If you have a guy at different positions, you try to cater to those guys, or different running backs like we talked about, or different O-linemen. So there is quite a bit that changes, whether it's doing the same things different ways or out of different personnel groupings and things like that. So it's usually you have about in a CFL game 65 around offensive plays, and if something's working, you try to get to the same spot, or if it's not working, you move on. So it's probably somewhere in that 100 to 120 from week to week, but that varies from whether it's a short week or a long week. Sometimes when you got the 5-day weeks, which we had a whole bunch early in the season, short weeks heading east, you lose the whole practice day and things like that. You got to be a little bit more tight in your game plans, and then in a regular week you can be a little bit more comfortable, and then it comes down to what your guys can handle. If your guys can handle more, and our receiver group is has been a great group at learning, and they want to put in the work and things like that, so they can handle a little bit more plays and if it's newer, fresher guys in there, you got to tone it down, because the number one thing you got to be able to do is everyone's got to be able to trust where they are supposed to be and going to be, and that starts with the quarterback knowing where everyone's going to be.
And then looking ahead to this weekend, BC defensively, what problems do they pose?
They got lots of talent. They got good players up front. They got good linebackers that can run the side to side that are big and tough and physical, and they got good cover guys. Guys that have been good cover guys not only this year but for many years. With Peters and TJ Lee and other players like that are Rugamba. Those guys are good players, and they present challenges because there's not a lot that those guys haven't seen. So it's a very great challenge for us, and that's the best part about football. Is days like today's game plan day, and then getting after it, in the week with the players, and hopefully on Saturday that our 6 or 7 days of hard work comes through for us.
Okay, I lied. This is the last one. You hunker down tonight and watch the Monday Nighter. Who do you like, Saints or Chiefs?
I'll try to watch some of it. Probably be working through most of it, but I think the Chiefs will win. As a Raider fan, that kills me to say, but I think the Chiefs are probably the better team.
There we go. All right, Mark, we'll find you that jacket. Thanks so much, and then we'll catch up again.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Take care.
There's the head of our offense here in Rider Country, Marc Mueller, Regina boy. Nice big slapshot fan, Bidsy.
Yeah. He's a smart man. Right there after that, even a bigger fan I am of his, if you like slapshot. And I got to add one thing about that Reg Dunlop jacket, which is a beauty, and I want one. And I've always, whenever I go to a garage sale, or if I ever go to one, or whenever I'm anywhere near like Value Village, I go in there and that's what I look for. I just look for that. I just look and see if somebody brought in one. They're cleaning out their garage thinking nobody's going to want this. And if I see it, oh man, I'd be getting it just like that.
Somebody out in SportsCage land's got to have one that they can let us borrow. We can actually hang it up here in the brand new studio too. Once Coach Mueller wears it, it'll be beautiful. It's time to take a quick break.
Dunlop.
If you're watching the stream, sportscage.com, or listening on 620 CKRM. Bidsy, you been watching Major League Hardball?
I have been watching some Major League. That's old school. Playing some hardball, are you? Yeah, I've been watching some hardball, and I was really impressed with yesterday's games. I thought there were some great storylines in there, too. Fans getting into it in Los Angeles with the Padres. But what I loved is in Philly, when they were booing Castillo, and then they're just booing him. They're just giving him the Bronx cheer, as they call it. And then he cranks one over the wall to get them out of their seats, and then he has the walk-off hit to give the Phillies the victory. I thought, man, that kind of gave me shivers. That was pretty cool.
Detroit beat Cleveland 3-0, so evened up that series 1-1. Royals and Yankees go this evening. I'm not like super into it, like we talked about it last week, but that San Diego Los Angeles series is going to get nasty. The back and forth, the chirping, and then the fans throwing stuff at the San Diego, it's Chavez Ravine.
Yep.
It could get real. Yeah, there's some big salaries on both those teams. Obviously, the LA Dodgers just got an astronomical salary, so it could get really interesting if they were to get bounced right away. But one thing I thought was really cool, the manager of the San Diego Padres said the same thing as you, Shink. He said, I can see this getting ramped up and everybody's getting a little emotional, but hey, he goes, the series is shifting back to San Diego, which I love San Diego, my favorite city in North America. Anyway, shifting back to San Diego, Shink, and he said, hey, fans, let's just remember this. Stay classy, San Diego. Classic.
Little anchor man. Yeah, you
Classic.
watch, there'll be tons of signs and shirts and stuff. Everybody's saying stay classy, San Diego, for the game.
Not a bad call, Bidsy. Yeah, so there's some baseball for people to watch tonight if you're into that thing. Monday Night Football, though. The Chiefs and Saints. Saints are a 5.5-point dog in this one. I'm just taking them straight up on the money line. I haven't been super successful on the Monday Nighters. I don't know. I think the Chiefs are prime for the picking. With just the injuries that they've had. They are at home, though. Like Dave said, it's Taylor Swift day. She'll be on the screen.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, everybody will be all fired up. The Chiefs have come close to, as you know, the Chiefs have come close to losing a few of these games, but they've come out on the winning side. So, I think some of these things are bound to catch up with them. And the Saints got a juggernaut of an offense led by OC. Speaking of OCs, Clint Kubiak is doing a great job as the OC for the Saints so far this season. So, could be a good one to go with them.
Hour 3 coming up after news. We have Darian Durant. Double Talk with Doubles. Curious to get his comments on the game this past weekend. And hockey fans are going to love it. Bottom of the hour, Colby Armstrong, Sasky boy, joining us on the all-new Sports Cage. If you're watching the stream, SportsCage.com.
Football is the game. We're all together, and winning is our aim. So cheer us on through the sun and rain. Saskatchewan Roughriders is our name.
If you're going to do that one, in karaoke, how many people would you need to make it sound like that, Colson? Colson, what do you figure in there?
I figure you need at least 10. At least 10.
Bidsy?
I don't think you need 10. I think you need 4. I'm going to say you need a solid 4 or more.
5.
Yes. I think you want to do it at that German club. I just feel like that'd be something that would be recorded at the German club.
That's where I'm going. Like, I wasn't sure what venue we were picking. If you're in like an echoey room, yeah, you can get away with 4. If you're in like a stadium, you need some extra voices to carry.
We're playing SaskTel Pick the Score at 936-6262 and the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. Also this hour, bonus time, 936-6262. You can play Pick the Score, but it's got to be separate emails. Then the other one, if you just want to text in Riders, we got another 2 tickets for you. If you're watching the stream, sportscage.com or on 620 CKRM, thank you very much. It is that time of the week to go talk to our buddy, Doubles.
The all-new Sports Cage presents Double Talk with Darian Durant. Brought to you by Wolf Industries, your truck repair specialist in Grenfell. Servicing all sizes of trucks, SGI accredited. And Prairie Land Rentals. Whether it's for the farm or the backyard, Prairie Land Rentals can help with all sizes of jobs.
Well, let's get down to brass tacks here, right off the hop, Doubles. What's your preferred Saskatchewan Roughriders song? We got Green is the Color. We got On Roughriders. We have Rider Pride. If Darian was going to do karaoke on one of those, which one would you do?
I will have to go with Green is the Color. And I say that because, that's what we play after every touchdown, right? So we get plenty of touchdowns. You hear that song, the words start connecting, and now it becomes a part of you. So that's definitely my go-to.
If you are watching the stream at sportscage.com right now, you see Darian Durant and you see palm trees behind him. The sun is setting. It looks beautiful there. Hey, it was a beautiful day in Sasky today, though, too, Doubles. Not a bad day in Edmonton on Saturday. Weather-wise, great day for Riders when it comes to the football game. First off, let's start with the good. What did you like from the green and white on Saturday?
Well, I just like the ability to move the ball once again. I think that, not having a firm running back in place and still being able to move the ball. You're getting touchdowns when you get close now. And, for the first time I saw the Saskatchewan Roughriders make big plays against man-to-man coverage. You didn't get a chance to see that a lot going against Winnipeg and then, playing against Calgary and some of these softer type, backup coverages. But what Edmonton did was come out. They came in your face. They played man-to-man coverage. And I thought the Riders did a great job of just attacking downfield and making plays against man-to-man.
Okay. On the heels of that, though, what do you think maybe the Riders could have done better from the offensive side when you're watching the game?
Of course, I would start with running the ball. I always emphasize how important it is this time of year to being able to run the ball with the weather change. I would have liked to see them do that a lot better. And I also said that the more and more Trevor throws, the chances of interceptions go up, and he had a couple picks this game, which can't happen moving forward. But, other than that, things like that are going to happen. Nothing's going to be perfect. But at the end of the day, I was just so happy to see the receivers and quarterbacks make plays against man-to-man coverage.
I was going to add to that, Darian. I know you're an offensive guy, but you understand what defensive guys are thinking. When man coverage gets thrown in, guys get very excited for that. They want to be tested. They want to show that they can handle that matchup, especially DBs. By incorporating it, it gives them a little more confidence moving forward, don't you think? Plus, doesn't it also give the other team's offense something to think about?
Absolutely, and I think for Trevor, I think you're able to build some confidence in your guys. You see your guys go up and make contested catches. You see your guys running away from coverage at times. So whenever as a quarterback you see that, you get that confidence in these guys that they can make plays against whatever coverage the defense presents. And then, on the opposite side of the ball, it always helps out, when you see that these guys are coming up, they're coming up to play tight coverage, and, you feel like your guys can make plays. So it goes both ways. Like I said, I keep mentioning it. I just have the biggest smile on my face because I always wondered, when you play against an Edmonton or a Hamilton or these teams who are super aggressive and come up and play press coverage, what could the Riders do? Because, that was always a question of mine, but I think they'd answered that, and I was just so happy to see it.
Hey, Darian, what did you used to look at? And this is one of our listeners messaged this in a little while ago, and I'm looking, what did you used to look at from the quarterback in getting the running backs into the game? Was it sometimes when they were playing man and you could man up a fast running back on a linebacker, maybe run him on that wheel route?
Yeah, I think that's another way that you can get your guys involved. But, it's all about the tendencies of the defense and what type of box are they giving you. Are they giving you a 6-man box because they want to stop the run, or are they giving you a 5-man box because they're worried about your pass? And I just think the Riders are doing a great job of just taking what the defense gives them. I mean, they're gearing up to stop the run in some cases, and it's allowing Trevor to just sit back there and do what he does well. And, at this time of the season, it's not about pressing or trying to do things out of the ordinary. You always want to perfect what you do well, and you want to take what the defense gives you.
Nobody knows the offensive line more than their quarterback. How impressed have you been with what the Riders have been able to sustain on their offensive line as they continue to move people in and out due to injury?
Yeah, it's just super impressive, and hats off to J.O. and his staff for, having guys that are ready to just plug and play when their numbers are called. It's not easy to be sitting an entire season or to sit the first 12, 13 games of a season and then be called upon to go out there and start and have that, the stamina, the energy, whatever it takes to go out there and play a full game. These guys are ready. Dan Farthing, the strength and conditioning staff, is just doing an excellent job of having the O-line ready to go. And just the chemistry they've built in such a short amount of time has been impressive. So the O-line has just been a great surprise in my eyes. And you have to have that continuity and that chemistry going forward, especially this time of the season.
The pass interference call on Stearns, definitely pass interference. When we were talking to Dave Thomas earlier, he thought it might have went either way there. When you guys are doing those rub routes, Darian, and you're working on them at practice, and then maybe in a game, are you saying to guys, all right, okay, rub route here, maybe don't do this? Or what are you telling guys to be careful of?
Well, the main thing is you just don't want to bring the ref's attention to you by doing something out of the ordinary. You're going to have to, slow your speed down a little bit and make sure you know where the defender is to set the fence or the rub. But, you don't want to bring the attention to you. So I would just let the guys know in the huddle, okay, this is a rub route or this is a fence route or what we called it. And, try to be as normal as possible, even though we know 9 times out of 10 it is a pass interference on our part. But you try to do as much as you can. Maybe the ref gets caught up in looking at something else. He's not paying attention, and you can get away with it. But, it's just one of those plays in football where if you get away with it, great. And if you don't, you're pissed off about it. But deep down inside that it's illegal.
How excited are you, or would you be, are you as a fan, and would you be as a player with this game that's coming up where you have everything in your own hands and you have a chance to, with a victory, secure a home playoff game, and this game that decides it is also on your turf?
Yeah, this is what it's all about. I mean, you want to play for an opportunity to play at home, get that home playoff game, and then what better way to send a message to a team you're probably going to see in that first round than, to show them that, you guys don't want to come out here and play. We know that how tough Mosaic is in the first place, but then you add the weather to it, to an indoor team, to a team that's not used to these elements. You send that message a couple weeks early. So this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
This is a perfect opportunity for the Riders to do that. And, with the festivities and everything going on, it just adds to a perfect weekend of football, and it's just set up perfectly.
Okay, with that, I love that. On the heels of that, so do you go into this, do you maybe keep a few of the tricks in the bag over here just in case, or do you do whatever it takes to win this game and then come up with new tricks in the next 2 weeks?
Whatever it takes to win. You can't hold anything back. You don't want to risk having to go out to BC in a few weeks to play that playoff game. So you want to make sure you can lock it in here, secure it, empty the holster, as we would say. Let all the bullets fly. Whatever you may have been saving the entire season, reverse passes, flea flickers, you name it. This is the game to make sure that you don't hold anything back. You want to secure this one. And, Coach Mueller knows, and this staff knows what it takes, and I'm sure they'll do that.
Okay, couple of NFL ones before we let you go. Dallas Cowboys now going back to the Super Bowl?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, it was an impressive win in Pittsburgh. That's hard to do, but this team is just so up and down, and they don't show any signs of any consistency.
How hard would that have been, though, Doubles, with the delay and how late that game was on the East, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like that sometimes, but, for both teams and especially the Cowboys, they're an hour behind, so it's later for them as well. So for them to, fight through it and make sure they're good to go, that, kudos to them.
What was the other crazy one NFL-wise this week? Was it maybe the Cardinals beating the Niners? Was it the Giants over the Seahawks? Which one caught your eye?
You know what? We talked about this a couple weeks ago, and it was the Bengals and the Commanders. And we said that, I don't know if it would be an upset if the Commanders beat the Bengals. And what the Commanders are doing, and I'm not saying that the Browns are world beaters or anything like that, but they're just beating everyone in their way. They're making it look easy. It's consistent. Jaden Daniels has just done a tremendous job as a rookie. I know some teams that passed up on him are looking back like, man, what did we miss in our evaluation of this guy? I mean, he's just been super impressive. And, my brother, when he was in the NFL, he played for Dan Quinn. So I understand the type of guy Dan Quinn is and what he brings to an organization, and just a phenomenal job he's doing with that Commanders team.
It's unreal. I'm very curious to see how they go. All right. Who do you got tonight?
Man, I'm sorry. I've been doing evacuations and all of this stuff, so I have no idea. We're facing a hurricane here, so I haven't. Saints and Chiefs. Yeah, okay, I guess. Yeah, you're a little bit busy with real life stuff. Yeah, and Plaza coming up, so hopefully I can make it out of here. But, I don't think, Pat Mahomes will let the Saints win. He's just too good. And the Chiefs, they're just picking up where they left off last year. So I like the Chiefs in pretty much any matchup this year.
All right, Doubles. Well, hopefully we get to see you up here this week. You get out of there and the weather shifts or moves or settles down a bit. Thank you so much once again, my man.
No problem. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks, Doubles. Good talking to you.
Right on. That is Double Talk with Darian Durant. Always a pleasure. Brought to you by Wolf Industries in Grenfell and Prairie Land Rentals here in Regina, Saskatchewan. Still more to come on the show, including Hockey Talk. Colby Armstrong joining us momentarily. It's the all-new Sports Cage on the home of the Rider, 620 CKRM. Welcome back. We've got about a half hour left here on the show. Bidsy, we talked about it earlier. WHL this past weekend, as far as the Saski teams go, the Regina Pats in a shootout over the Edmonton Oil Kings. Tyson Busikowski, his first goal as a Regina Pat. But Tanner Howe, it says he's out, upper body injury, week to week. So that's not good news for Pats fans. But up in Saskatoon, they get a couple guys back today too. The Blades are going to be a wagon.
Yeah, the Blades very excited to have two of their NHL prospects back with the team, and that would be defenseman, Nashville Predators prospect Tanner Molendyk, and 20-year-old sniper Brandon Lisowski. They're returning to the Bridge City this week after stints at NHL training camp. So once again, Molendyk, who was with Nashville, and he had a great year last year. He is a silky smooth skater. He's a great man to have back there. They're very excited to have him back. He had 56 points last year in 50 games from the blue line. And then to have Lesowski back as a 20-year-old, he had 42 goals, 38 assists, 80 points in 68 games. So Blade's very excited to have those two fellas back, Molendyk and Lesowski, returning to the blue and gold.
You talk about silky smooth skaters, and that's our segue with the Western Pizza guest hotline. We're going back out. I've been teasing this. It's Colby Armstrong. It's our old buddy Colby Armstrong. We talk silky smooth skaters. Now, Colby, was it Rosie, your mom, that made you the skater you are, or was it the rollerblades?
It was actually skating in real skates on the pavement at 4:00 in the morning through Saskatoon neighborhoods with my brother. You ever seen sparks fly like that? It'll light your popcorn on fire in the third row barn. But if I have to honestly give my honest opinion, yes, it's a lot to do with my mother, of course.
People out there that don't know, Rosie Armstrong, Colby and Riley's mom, was a huge figure skater and power skating, Colby, instructor?
Yeah, primarily figure skating initially, but a lot of power skating, especially when I was younger growing up. Like, I don't know who didn't take skating lessons from her through Saskatoon Youth Minor Hockey. I think a lot of the organizations, but mostly our area with the Saskatoon Red Wings. So, like, I'm talking the Shen brothers. Likely all of them have come up and had lessons with Rosie, learn to skate, at ACT Arena, baby. That was the home grounds for skating and playing hockey for us.
Yeah, ACT. Good spot there. As Shink says, they run a good concession there.
Mediocre. Mediocre.
Is it mediocre?
I used to work there. I used to work there, but the guy hired me in the summer because my mom taught figure skating there for the Saskatoon Figure Skating Club. But they fired her, so they stink now. I don't like Saskatoon Figure Skating Club. She works at Grenadier Arena now and gives a bunch of lessons out of there. So if people are looking for skating lessons, they can find her there. But I used to work there, and I used to just steal pizza pops out of the back, like heat them up, like minute and a half on one side, minute on the other, and just house them down. I love pizza pops.
Cosmo Civic Center always ran a superior concession to ACT. I'm just going to throw that out there.
And Cosmo stole our Zamboni driver too, Wes, the great Wes. He used to eat sunflower seeds in the Zamboni room like mad. They switched him over to Cosmo, and it's never been the same since.
Wes Reese, shout out. I love it. Go ahead. Bidsy, go ahead.
Nice. I was going to say, now everybody's naming their favorite rink attendant, and I'm going to go. I have to go with my buddy out in at Archibald Arena. I know Archibald's a small one, but that was right in my neighborhood. They used to let me and my buddy Clifford Swiston go up top of the dressing rooms up there before they put a net up there and go get all the pucks. And then the guy that ran the concession there would always chuck us a free pack of nibs for cleaning up when we were up there too. So there you go.
Shout out to those barns. Saskatoon. Great little barns. There's a little tour of Toontown growing up right there. By the way, Archibald, brutal dressing rooms, brutal benches, really tiny. Love the rink though. I love the rink.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Archibald was a rich man's Lions arena. That's all it was.
Yeah, roofs were a little higher there.
Yeah.
Let's get into why we got you here. You're on Sportsnet. You're on TNT. You're on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. You're doing everything. So I wanted to ask you, so starting now, how many days are you going to be traveling? And then, because your kids are in hockey clubs, right? You're busy. The wife must do a lot of heavy lifting.
She does everything. She does it all. She does my schedule. She's also my agent. So we keep it in-house, you know what I mean? And but she's really, really busy. So starting tomorrow, I fly to Toronto. I'll be on Wednesday night hockey for Sportsnet. Then I'll meet the Pittsburgh Penguins, who play the Rangers on Wednesday night. I'll meet them in Detroit on Thursday to call that game. I do color for the Penguins. So that's been pretty fun. I love doing that job. It's been awesome. And then I fly with the team back to Toronto for Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday night, then to Montreal on Monday night, then home late Monday night after that little road trip. So that's how my year's about to kick off. And you're right, my son's away playing hockey. Thankfully, I guess, because it takes a little bit off our plate. But we got the girls going like mad. And we're just about to start, all those jobs. And then I got game notes on Friday, too, with Spit and Chicklets crew. So we start that Friday at noon.
Where's the boy playing?
Wow.
I moved him out to Rhode Island, Mount St. Charles Academy. It's called.
Yep.
It's like it's kind of like a Shattuck St. Mary's, if you will. There's a few of them out in this area. Many more actually in the Northeast, which is crazy around the Boston area. But a new adventure that's like the last 3 weeks. So he's living in a dorm about the size of my bathroom with two other guys. And the rink's right on campus, so he's loving it. Like I went there to watch him, guys. The school's 100 years old. The rink's like 70 years old. It's awesome. Like speaking of these old rinks that we're talking about, this is one of those. The newest thing they have in there is the glass for the arena, which they got a number of years ago. It used to be cage, like chain link. But I went there. I was like, man, if I was 14 again, I'd love to go to this place. It's just like hockey heaven. Go to school. Everything's right there. So he's living the dream right now.
Before we get into the hockey questions, I have to ask you this, and this goes with your busy schedule. And I've had some busy schedules, nothing even close to that, though. But do you ever get confused? Like you start going up to the 4th floor because you're thinking you're in room 410, but then you realize, no, that was 2 hotels ago that I was in 410. I'm actually, it must be tough.
It's brutal. I'm a key guy, though. I put the key in my key turns into my wallet. That's my road move. I take like my ID, my credit cards with my hotel key into that little piece of paper fold that now becomes my wallet. So I always remember my room, and I have a really nice wallet to go with it. So that's a really good move. But yeah, it gets absolutely hectic for me as the year goes on. I know last year near the end of the year and through playoffs especially too, like that season just didn't end with the month-long Stanley Cup final that we all had to endure. Killed my summer. It just killed my summer.
You couldn't do that back in the day with the Imperial 400 keys, right? Because they were just those big. And then that was like the Imperial. You had to run outside, and you had to run outside to the water slides. Like, come on, we couldn't like figure that out back in the day. Hey, Colby, let's go back because so many guys are trying to make the team right now. There's still some guys are on the bubble up and down. What do you remember when you go back to that when you actually made the Pens?
Oh, I remember the year before I actually led the team in scoring in the preseason. I don't know if that matters or that counts. The teams are probably made, which we probably usually find out. There might be 1 or 2 surprises here and there. But I just remember being able to rub shoulders with like Alexei Kovalev, Mario, Lang, Straka, like these kind of guys that at the time I grew up just watching on TV, and so I think for a lot of those guys, that's kind of the biggest thing from your first camps or in general in trying to make the team. I think if you're not ready or really, really good, I think it's just an experience more so. And I think some of the guys that are ready and are really good, they just look different. They perform different. They handle themselves differently on the ice. And I think that takes learning but growing and experience. And I think you get that through several camps like I had to do before I did crack the team.
Do you ever remember on any of your teams a guy that maybe wasn't supposed to make it that ended up making it, just had a stellar camp and maybe started the regular season awesome and then he was there?
Well, Max Talbot, actually. Max Talbot, I don't even know. Do you have a research guy with you guys? I don't even know off the top of my head, but Max Talbot, whatever draft pick he was, like, I don't know what, like 4th round maybe or something, maybe later. Maybe not. But he made the camp with like Mario and Sid, I believe, his rookie season out of camp. And Max was a great teammate. He had some great moments. We can remember he scored Stanley Cup final and he had all these great games. Like he was a big game player, ugly doing it. Like I call it crazy legs, like skating and stuff, just looked really busy. That was part of his secret, I think, a little bit, but a great competitor, really smart, and out of camp of all the guys we had there, because we were stockpiling picks like mad in Pittsburgh. We were bankrupt, we were broke. It was all like older veteran guys. Then we got Sid, and then things started to change rapidly. But Talbot out of nowhere coming into that camp, and they decided to keep him, and he stuck for like 20 games, came down, and then eventually went back up.
Okay, this is from a coworker here. He wanted me to ask you this when I said you were going to be on the show, and he knew, of course, your Pittsburgh lineage. So first off, Max Talbot, excuse me, round 8. Pick 234. He was selected. 234th.
Wow. It's like Luke Robitaille-ish.
Yeah, very much so. Patrick Hornquist, also last pick in the draft, ended up scoring the Stanley Cup game-winning goal against the Predators.
I was going to say our research guy actually drives Zamboni in Dundurn, so today he's there. He's not here.
Hey, I had a 6-goal game there when I was little, and I remember my buddy's dad threw his hat on the ice, my dad's hat on the ice. It was like the first time I ever got like a hat trick, but I got a double hat trick. So my buddy's dad threw his hat on the ice, my dad's hat on the ice in Dundurn from the up top perch over top of the one end zone. You know how they have the little seating area up there, standing area? Sick barn. Got to go use the stairs. Got to use the stairs there.
Sick barn, yes. I have to throw in my one minor league. This is Keniston Arena, which is a solid arena as well, too, right off the highway. There was a grease fire while I was there getting ready for a tournament. We were getting ready to go on the ice. We were next game on the ice. So smoke starts billowing out. Everybody goes outside. We got our skates on. It's so cold that the roads, of course, are all packed down with snow and ice. So we played out there. Yeah, some parents threw out some pucks, and we played out on the road outside of the Keniston rink.
Parents just are half in the bag, and they're like, let's just continue this party. Let's get the kids playing on the road.
They were boozing out in the parking lot. They came outside. They're going, what the hell are these guys doing out here? Okay, now we can watch while we're in the parking lot.
Colby Armstrong joining us on the all-new Sports Cage. Kids, go back to your last camp, Colby, or that last twirl in Montreal. Like, did you embrace it a little bit more? Did you even know that was going to be your last one?
I had no clue. Like I would have had it'd been a dream if I played till I was 35. In my head, I was like, if I can make it to 35, this is electric. I was like 31 at the time, or was going to be 31 that year, 31. And it was coming out of the lockout year. So I was actually assistant coach for my brother's team for the Utah Grizzlies in Salt Lake City, who just got a new NHL team, by the way. Of course, we know that. But I was on the bench in Vegas playing against their East Coast League team, and a French referee came up to me and goes, hey, did you hear the lockout? It's over. And I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I'm not ready for this. I'm coaching in the cheese toast. Like, what do I got to do? I fly out the next day back to Montreal to get ready to go for camp. We had like 3 days of camp and the season started. That was my last kick at it.
Good story. I didn't know that one. Yeah, and now we're all craving cheese toast.
Yeah. And good accent too. Very similar. It sounded very much like Denis Lemieux in Slapshot. We've referenced Slapshot a few times today.
What's your take? Colby? And I know a lot of people that are Oiler fans are worried because so many people are picking them now, and you kind of don't want that jinx thing. What's your real take on what's going on in Edmonton and where they can go here?
Yeah, they got the two beasts, and then they got guys that can, chip in around them. How long's Evander Kane out? What's that outcome with his surgery? Like a number of months, probably, right? So you get him back a little bit later as well. I think he could be a force if healthy and feeling good. But I do know from talking to guys, like we saw Florida make it to the final the year before, lose, come back, win. Everyone's concerned about the amount of hockey you play and what you're doing. And maybe I'd be concerned for, McDavid and Leon, just because of how unbelievable they are and how much they mean to that team with mileage. But I think it only makes them, it only makes them hungrier, I think, getting there. Winning, I think, oddly enough, like these guys' bellies are never full, it seems, and they always want more. But I think getting there and getting that far and that sting of the loss really does fuel guys to want to push to get back there. But I also think it lends itself to a more calm veteran understanding of the process too. And I saw that with Sidney Crosby. I've seen that with some of these guys. Like, they know how to manage through a season to get into the playoffs, and then what to do each round, and how to manage a series, and how to, get to that promised land to give yourself a chance. And I think they gained a lot from this past year. Do I think they can do it again? Oh, man. With the NHL, I don't know. But if you have Leon and you have Connor, it'd be hard not to bet against them having another run.
Okay, before we let you go, Colby, I got to get these in here because I know we're running out of time talking to you, and I love talking with you and this panel here of born and raised Saskatoon boys right here. So this is coming from, I got two questions. Here's the first. This is coming from your buddy Ken Reed on Sportsnet. Ken Reed and I worked together in Calgary for about 5 years, and we're really good pals, so he wanted me to ask you this. He says, ask him what my father said the first time he saw his nose.
Like, I remember that, but Oh God, Kenny. He remembers all these dumb stories. I don't know. I know he.
Yep.
He has that accent, which you kind of almost got into with his dad. Oh, geez, look at that thing. What did he say? Did he give you the answer?
He didn't give me the answer, but he said, remember, my dad is a doctor, Dr. Dan Reed. So that's what he added in there.
Horrible,
and then he said, okay.
Horrible golfer, though. Horrible golfer. We know his old man is.
Dr. Dan is. Ken takes his game pretty seriously, though. But, Dr. Dan, not a good golfer. Here's the second one. Also ask him how much of a senior hockey legend his father, Wayne, was back in the day.
Oh, my God. Kenny's like ultimate hockey card collector. I swear to God, he's looking for cards of my old man in senior hockey. He looked up pictures. My mom sent me a bunch of like headshots of him from his team pictures from like the Border Kings and Lloydminster and the Paradise Hill Hawks and all this different stuff that he used to play for. And Kenny's a huge fan of that. Actually, fun fact or good story. I'm having a sleepover at Kenny Reed's house tomorrow night in Toronto.
Oh, there we go.
Right on.
Like a dad sleepover. That'll be normal.
Rent some VHS tapes the old days.
Oh yeah, I'll come in. You'll have on Slapshot, like 100%.
Okay, I gotta ask you two more before we let you go. This whole CHL to NCAA thing, Colby, like it's going to get wild here, is it not?
Well, who's going to crack the code, right? Like what athlete or player or what agent or advisor is going to crack the code on the proper route or how you're going to maximize one, like NIL money and like dealings with school and then transferring over. We're starting to see it happen, right? Player from Regina from the Pats is looking to go to Arizona State, but
Braxton Whitehead. Yep.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I think it's my son's 14, so it could be kind of cool, right? Because you could go for a few years in the Western League and then you can kick over. So everyone's talking about the ramifications of like junior B hockey or some of these other leagues and what's going to happen. The USHL as another example as well. And the landscape's going to shift and totally change. I think like we see down here in college hockey with the portal. I think that's what it's going to be like, but it's going to open up like cross-border all over the place like that. Yeah. So players will be switching, flip-flopping jerseys, leagues all over the place. One league will become older, probably. One league will become younger. And it'll kind of be like a morphing up all the way to you get to the NHL of like CHL to NCAA to American League to NHL.
It's going to be unreal. Who is a team that maybe we're not talking about going into this season that could be sneaky that you think?
Oh, God. Everyone's thinking like in the East, like Ottawa, Buffalo. And I don't know about Buffalo. They didn't look too good first couple games. I don't know if I like the European global games myself, but I would say Utah.
No.
I would take a shot at Utah with what they have there. They made some bold moves this summer. They got some good players added to their roster and their lineup. They're in a place to feel energized that they're in the NHL, actually. So too bad for people from Saskatchewan that go and holiday all the time down in Arizona. You're going to have to now head to – I was on the elevator in Arizona after a game, and Dr. Kurtz, my guy that put my braces on before I went to junior, was in the elevator. Come to find out all the 10 other people in the arena elevator are all from Saskatchewan or Saskatoon. So you're going to have to switch your allegiance. What is it now in Saskatchewan? Vegas? Or are we going to go Utah? Who's everyone going there?
People are all over the map. They kind of stay with the Western, but then you got the McCrimmon tie, plenty of Saskatchewan, shout out. Right?
Let's go Pittsburgh. Let's go Penguins.
Yeah, well, Tanner Howe can make it from PA.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe in a couple of years from now. You got one more, Bids? Because I got one more before I let him go.
I do, yeah, for sure. And this is just from Ken. Because Ken Reed's sitting there at Sportsnet Central there, and he's listening. And so he just wanted to chime in again. He said, yep, Wayne was the man. I'm still trying to collect stuff on him. And tell him that my dad said that his dad is a doctor again, he says, that his nose is a medical miracle. Lastly, he says,
miracle.
Yeah. A miracle. Yeah, it would have been like that. And lastly, he says he's going to have Slapshot ready for the sleepover. There you go.
Absolutely. Yep.
You guys should do like one of the original WrestleManias, because that's like we used to rent those back in the day. But then does Ken know the story about your dad putting the plates in your pants at Red Deer Camp?
I'm sure he probably does. No, yeah, but my dad melted down 2 lead weights that I taped on the back of a truck in the parking lot in Red Deer to add 10 more pounds when I stepped on the scale.
Veteran.
Little cheat move. Michael Garnett's dad. Michael Garnett and his dad taped him to my legs in the parking lot.
Okay, so then the last question here. What is we have the video, boys, to play? We have the video here. What was the thinking here, Colby?
I got to see this. Oh, this is unbelievable. Can I talk while this is happening?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is unbelievable. So if you can see up there, what was that? The 11th round. And I got it. This is a preseason game in London. And I guess I looked like I almost did trip, but just a nice angle coming in, just, playing chess, not checkers, lining up Bobrovsky. And then half clapper, fake last second blade change into a flipperdoodle scoop shot top Jed. Look at this. How's she going? You think I'm looking 5-hole? Then I change the angle. Go look at him. Look at him. He just looks like he got a magic trick done on him. And he did. And then I had the holes in my stick back then too. Me, Datsuk, and Chris Neal, the only guys to use that Reebok stick, the O stick with the holes in it. And the boys are always making fun of me. So I played the magic flute. We called it the flute stick. Look at this thing. Old Medano curve. Oh, how's she going? London.
You didn't have that planned. You didn't have that planned the whole way.
That I was going to do that shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my kind of go-to. Little pitching wedge. Little how's she going?
Even better. All right, Kay.
I don't know why they saved me to the 11th round, Barnyard. What are they doing?
Yeah, you got a guy with a stick like that and a move like that. Like he's in your top 3.
And a Sally?
Yeah, playing the flute. What a guy!
I love the fact that you said he had a magic trick done to him. That is, I'm gonna add that to the rotation.
It's like he's at the Persephone Theater, magic trick and the flute playing. Colby, have a heck of a week, man. That's a busy week. Let's try and do this again, maybe in a month or so.
Yep, sounds good. Good to be on with you guys. Love Saskatchewan. Let's go.
Right on. Colby Armstrong joining us on the Western Pizza Hotline on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. Always so much fun with Colby Armstrong. If you missed it, go back podcast for him. Just like if you missed any of the program today, maybe it was Marc Mueller, Dave Thomas, earlier in the show as well, or Darian Durant, right? You can always go back and get it in podcast form. Time for our clutch performer. Okay, it's for Nick Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. You can call the guys and girls from Nick Service at 781-1077. Colson, take it away.
All right, so our clutch performer has to be Ashton Genty.
Yes.
If you don't know who he is, college football player for Boise State Broncos, number 2, running back.
This is crazy. Listen to the stats that Colson's going to throw out here.
So 5 games, 95 carries, 1,031 yards, 16 touchdowns. That is a touchdown a quarter and a 10.9 yard average. And in one of those games, he had 127 yards because they took him out after the first half.
That it's a legit school, legit. Like it's not like some community college, like Boise State, right? Playing like real life football. 1,031 yards on 95 carries.
Yeah,
and 16 tutties.
This is Boise State. Is this the Boise State that has the blue turf?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is. Those are some legit numbers. Good one, Colson. Really good. Again, clutch performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. Wow. That is a little bit mind blowing. I got to say. All right, Biddy. So we got Monday Night Football tonight, and we got hardball. What are you going to flip back and forth? Are you doing split screens? What are you doing?
And hardball. I love how you call it hardball. Yeah, I'm going to be watching probably more baseball than football. I love football, but it's just different. Postseason, just there's more on the line and everything, and I really get into the baseball, so I'll flip her back and forth.
Would Faye
probably
be watching?
Hardball though.
Or Hope, would Hope be watching?
Hope will be watching baseball. She watches football when the Riders play or on Sundays when my dad takes the remote control and he takes it and he tries to hide it. He jams it in between the cushions on the couch there. And they got a 3-cushion couch. There's a cushion in the middle. The one's on one end, one's on the other. And then they kind of work who has the remote control.
Got to squeeze this in here. Our own Justin Dunk has just made it known. Sean Bain Jr. is out for the rest of the season with a knee injury. I think we all saw that coming, but still, that's
for the season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Squeeze that in there.
Good heads up. Unfortunate news. I'm sure we'll be talking about that tomorrow on the program. Dave Thomas will have the full rundown from Rough Rider practice. Curtis, thanks so much. Good job on those videos today. Solid effort. Colson, as per usual. Awesome stuff. Bidsy, it's been a pleasure after a week away. It's like they separated us for a week, then they brought us back.
Then they brought us back together. It was a fun show. It was a great show. You know it always is when it goes by so fast. And our buddy Ken Reed from Toronto was listening. He said, beauty interview with Colby, 3 solid Sasky guys.
Yeah, Kenneth. Kenneth, good guy as well himself.
Kenneth Reed.
All right, my man. Have a good night, everybody out there. Stay safe. Watching football, watching baseball, watching your kids at the rink, doing whatever you do. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.